I'm so glad to be back with you today. So, why don't we talk about something that every artist struggles with and that no one likes to really admit that they struggle with it? We're going to talk about perfectionism today. Yep, we sure are. I see it all the time. And you know what? I'm a little bit guilty of it myself, even though I say, practice makes, and someone wants to say perfect, and I said, you better. Practice makes you better. There's no such thing as perfect, right? So, if you've ever felt like you were dealing with perfectionism or you're in denial about it, this is what it may look like. So just imagine you're wrapping your jewelry and stuff, and you're looking at that wrap and you're like, oh, this loop isn't perfect, or that bead is just not sitting exactly where I want it to, right? Especially when you're making rings. So clearly I've been there before. But don't panic. Here's the truth. Handmade art is not supposed to be perfect. Why, you ask? Because it's supposed to be yours. Remember when I shouldn't say remember because it's still very relevant. When you're signing on to a new website or whatever, and they ask you to put your code word in, or they send you a code, and then what happens? You have to verify that you are not a robot. So guess what? Let's stop treating ourselves like we're robots. Like every loop is going to be exactly uniform and everything is going to be perfect. Remember, there's no such thing as perfect, but everything is going to be and then you start feeling like a robot because there's no more personality in your jewelry design. Yeah, I like that. Y'all, I've had 3 cups of coffee today. Deal with me. But seriously though, every tiny imperfection, even if it's an uneven wrap or a slightly off-center bead, it tells a story. It shows that real hands made it. Your hands made it, right? And that's what gives your jewelry soul. Come on now, look out now. She's talking about soul. Yes, soul, attitude, all that jazz. So when you think about it, perfectionist, if you're trying to be a perfectionist, it can actually feel a little bit cold, like too clean, too polished, and as we talked about, too factory made. But that small little quirk that you make in the wire, that's warmth, that's personality, and that, my friend, is what makes your piece one of a kind. So let's say if that loop isn't, and I'm doing air quotes, perfect, right? Or that swirl that you made isn't, air quote, perfect, but you made it. It says, I'm human. That's how people can tell the difference. Whether you're at a craft fair, because let me tell you something, babes. When you're at a craft fair, your, air quote, competitors, because I feel like we're creative friends, but you do have some that like to compete. They come and they study your work. We'll talk about craft fairs another day, but I want to tell you something. Don't you let nobody take pictures without permission. Stop it right there. But they're studying your work. And you know why? Because another crafter can tell whether you have purchased these things to sell as your own, which is a lack of integrity. Let's keep it real. Or whether you actually made it. So they're looking for those little bits, those little clues of imperfection. Wow, that was kind of deep. I got all into it, but that's the truth. That was a little sidebar. But here's another truth, according to Angela. The world doesn't need another flawless piece of jewelry. It needs your touch. It needs your creativity. It needs your beautiful human fingerprints on the art that you make. And when you start to let go of that perfectionism, you'll notice something magical. Your creativity starts to breathe again. You'll take more risks. You'll experiment more because you know your inner child likes to have a little freedom, right? And you'll actually enjoy the process instead of stressing over the outcome. I had to breathe because I just had a memory. My students on day one in the classroom, y'all, they come in. Well, I think we all came in thinking that we had to already know, but no. My classes in person are a playground. I allow all of us to play, kick back, and have a good time. Okay? So, remember, instead of stressing over the outcome of what is supposed to, and that was in air quotes, look like, enjoy the process. Because here's the thing. Even nature, which is the ultimate artist, even nature isn't perfect. Look at the seashells. Some of those are chipped. The stones have cracks. Flowers have uneven petals. But yet, we find them breathtaking. We ooh and ah over it, right? And actually, when I find a shell or whatever as I'm walking, on the beach, I'm talking about cruise time, y'all. When I'm walking or whatever and I find a shell, when I'm, in a different country or whatever, I'm excited if it's got a little chip. I'll be like, ooh, what happened here? And then I imagine, how can my wire fit in there to bring that little part of personality out? Because I want this to be the highlight of this piece. Isn't that crazy? I love it though. And speaking of that, when we find, well, I haven't found, but when you find sea glass, that's definitely not perfect, right? Yeah, so why do we expect our art, ourselves, or anything to be any different? We're not perfect. We're growing, right? All right, I got to close this out, y'all. Because I'll keep going. We all got stuff to do. So, here's an action step for you. Okay? The next time you finish a piece, instead of asking, is this perfect? Ask yourself, what makes this piece uniquely mine? Look at it closely. Find one small imperfection, a twist that went on its own way, a wrap that didn't line up exactly, and instead of fixing it, celebrate it. I mean, literally say out loud, oh, right, that's what makes it mine. That's what I'm talking about. You got to hype yourself up. Listen, you got to be your own cheerleader. All right, so it's because when you embrace those little imperfections, you're not lowering your standards. You're honoring the handmade spirit that makes your work authentic. Remember, perfection is machine made, but character is handmade. And you, my friend, are creating art that carries both your skill and your soul. Hello, somebody. Say it again for the people in the back. So go ahead, keep rapping, keep experimenting, and keep letting your beautiful imperfections shine, because they're not mistakes, babe. They're your signature. Woo! Thank you for joining me on this Mindful Monday. Maybe I'll reduce the cups of coffee I have the next time I record, because some of y'all not woke yet. Well, you might be. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Definitely hit that notification bell because we want you as part of the EBA family. And we don't want you to miss another episode. Join us next time. All right. Happy creating. Love, Angela.